Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is your friendly neighborhood Paul, and welcome to our third episode of Nostalgia on the Rocks, the podcast where we talk about the games of old, the games of new, and everything in between. I am joined by my co-host. You know him as the Tetris champion of the world. Man to my immediate left, the one and only. Well, probably underscore Oliver.
Also, looks like we're about to I don't know, deal some cocaine in the 80s right now.
Deal make I simply arrange transportation of airlines flying to and from North to South America. That's all I do.
Yeah, you
I
don't know
don't
what's in those
I
bags.
simply charter the jets. All right, you can't get mad at me for that. How you doing today, Ollie?
I'm good. I'm good. I've just finished work. I've got 10 days off work now. I'm very excited. I'm gonna chill out. I'm gonna play some video games. I'm gonna hang out. It's gonna be
Oh,
good.
we're gonna be
Fun.
getting into those
Good
here.
fun.
We're gonna be getting into those games here in just a little bit. But of course, we have a third chair. Now,
We do.
Ollie, would you like to introduce him or would you like me to?
Absolutely. So today we have with us the vibe daddy of Twitch, ThrillhouseMAX. ThrillhouseMAX is a guy that I have known a long time now. Probably, you know, through one way or another for about 15 years. I think I've been interacting with the man below us on internet forums worldwide. But in the last year, I've become good Twitch friends with him, and he's an incredible streamer. Do you wanna introduce yourself, Thrill?
What's going on, party people? I am ThrillhouseMAX. You can call me Thrilly, or you can call me your Vibe Daddy. I am an American variety streamer from obviously the United States. And I'm all about having a good time. I spread only good vibes. Only good vibes. And usually every Thursday on my stream is Throwback Thursday. But today, we're here and we're going to have a good old time.
I mean, we're gonna throw something back.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. All right. So I we're gonna start the show off with this after we go through the alcohol choices of this evening, because that nickname needs some clarification. I am not. I'm gonna be full front facing and honest. I know of you. I don't really know you, and so this is where okay, I get to sit back and listen to your story for the first time, and that is going to be the first story that I want to hear about is why and where that name came from. But before we get to that, because it is nostalgia on the rocks, let's hear what everybody's drinking. So, being our guest of honor, Thrill House, what are you drinking?
I have myself a brand new bottle of Breckenridge bourbon whiskey
Okay, okay.
from Colorado.
Colorado
Whiskey
whiskey.
with snowmelt water from the Rocky Mountains.
Ooh.
I imagine there's just a guy whose job it is to go up there with a bucket and just scoop up snow, walk down, put it in a
Got
thing,
it, guys.
melt it. All right. It's just they just call him the bucket boy. He just goes up, gets snow, puts it. That or he just starts an avalanche and then somebody's down there at the bottom to catch it all. Like those are like what are you, they just send him up there with like just M80s, just flicking firecrackers up into the snow trying to get an avalanche to start.
Waiting at the bottom of the mountain with a truck, like, hey, we got the snow, guys. Uh,
You start on the wrong side of the mountain. Oh, oh no. And Ollie, what are you drinking tonight, my man?
See, I'm bringing the side down. Both you have got some beautiful drinks. I've gone with the old Hail Mary that anyone familiar with my channel will know that I'm very familiar with. I've got the Camden Hells Lager. It's a hell of a beer. It just I can't quit this beer no matter how hard I try. It's Camden Hells. I am open to sponsorships.
I mean, there's nothing wrong with that beer, and honestly, like you said, it's day one. Or wait, no, you're on day zero right now.
Day zero.
Yeah, so you got to pace yourself. If you start off now with the hard stuff, then by day 9 or 10, you're just gonna be bleh. You gotta ease into it. Day zero.
Yeah, start off a little slow, and then you pick it up.
And then myself, I have I didn't go with a scotch this week. This week I have, I believe it's pronounced Amrut. I'm probably pronouncing that completely wrong. It's probably something different. But this is actually a single malt Indian whiskey, which I have had one time before in a much smaller size. Like they had a little sampler out back before the plague hit. There was on base on one of the shops that sells a bunch of the alcohol. They would have a guy come in whose name is Terry. Terry would literally have all of these fancy like scotches and whiskeys out in front of him, and then you would be able to try them out. Because he got a piece of the commission off of every sale. So a lot of people will dodge those expensive bottles because they're like, I don't know what this tastes like. I don't really want to run the risk of buying a $120 bottle of booze and it tastes like crap. So he's like, yeah, try this, and then based on how you react, he then kind of can judge and tell you, okay, well, you kind of want to head this way or that way. But every now and again, he'll have his hidden gem, as he liked to call it. And one day, his hidden gem was this, and he was like, now this might be a little sacrilege because it's not Scotch, but it's still real nice. So we're gonna go ahead and crack it open.
Oh, it's a fresh bottle as well.
Oh yeah. Oh, this is.
Oh, give us that pop. Give us that pop.
Okay, hang on. We got that little off. We got the other little like cloth or tape on it. Let's get that next to the mic. Ooh.
Oh, you love to
Ooh.
see it. You love to see it.
Ooh. Ladies and gentlemen, whether you're at work or off work, or you're just hanging out, I invite you to raise a glass with us here. Thank you guys for being here. I appreciate each and every one of you. Stay safe. Salud.
So, Vibe Daddy.
Oh. Yeah. Let's just crack right into this. Where did this come from? Where did Vibe Daddy come from?
So, Will Plays Games Sometimes is partially responsible for this one because I was on his stream one night and we were playing some games, and at the end of the stream he's like, all right, go ahead, introduce yourself. And before I could introduce myself, he's talking about me and my good vibes and all that, and how nobody else has but more good vibes. And I'm like, under my breath, I was like a little unsure about it. I'm like, so that makes me Vibe Daddy. And he's like, what? And I'm like, Vibe Daddy? He's like, Vibe Daddy? I love it. And like, ever since then, everybody's been sticking with it. He even made the Vibe Daddy emote that you can see on my channel that chat was spamming earlier. Yeah, I'm sticking with it. It's so cool. Fuck
Okay.
it. I'm Vibe Daddy.
Vibe Daddy. Okay. All right. I mean, look, I've heard of much worse nicknames being given out. And like there were like you're not a so honestly overall that's not too bad. That's not too bad. But starting us off, because of course this is Nostalgia on the Rocks, where we talk about the games of old, the games of new, and everything in between. Let's start talking about what we're playing. So, probably Oliver, what have you been playing recently?
Been going a bit nostalgic recently. Last week I managed to snag myself a Xbox Series S, and Game Pass along with it. And
Oh yeah,
my God, there are some good games on that thing.
yeah.
A lot of the time has been spent over the last week with myself, and that's what C said, my wonderful fiance. We've been playing Gears of War 2 together, and that game holds up so well. That game is so much fun, just from start to finish. It is a joy. And like I normally can't really play games with my other half. Like we don't communicate so good when it comes to controllers in our hands. There is a list of games we are banned from playing together. Like we once tried to play Overcooked, and I don't think we
Ooh.
spoke for 3 weeks after. But Gears of War, like it that game is just so good, and playing it co-op, like I never feel like I never feel like either one of us is dragging the other one behind. I feel like the game kind of lets you sort of explore, lets you go at your own pace very much. That game kind of that game, like for me, I think that's a turning point for like third person shooter games. And I know everyone like sort of laughs and jokes about like like the chest high walls and how deadly serious everything in that game takes itself, but that's part of the charm. Like it
Yeah.
is a big dumb action movie, and we've like I've started like yelling out, there's a Reaver, check on the Reaver first, like, and we are not that couple. We are not that couple, but Gears of War is turning us that way. It's hella good fun. Hella good fun. I
Yeah.
can't wait to go through the whole series. And as well, like what I love about Xbox, like, which I mean, I've always been a PlayStation kid, like, and I probably still prefer like the PlayStation ecosystem sort of thing, but all of those games, all of those Gears of War games, even Gears of War 5, which only came out what, 2 years ago? Two,
That would
maybe
have
maybe three?
been, yeah, I'd say 2000. Oh God, it's 2021.
19?
I would say it came out in 18. I would say it
18,
came out in
2,
18.
3 years ago. Like it's,
Yeah.
but you can still play that game split screen. Like video games aren't split screen anymore, and I'm so excited to like just play through this entire series. Like it's so much fun, so good, so good, such a joy.
Yeah, I remember two this I remember two distinctly because that was like one of the first ones that I actually picked up because I think I played a little bit of one, or no, that was the thing. So I was playing two at a buddy's house and I was just like, what is this game? Like I was at that point I was a PlayStation kid. I still like I didn't have the PS3. I was still rocking the PS2 at the time. And so I was like I was very much in that boat and then yeah, I think it was running around in one of the locust dens, like whenever you're going down there looking for Dom's other half. It's
Maria.
Maria. Thank you. And so it was like just running around down there and just being like, "What is happening?" And then just hitting a locust with a chainsaw, and just that. I'm like, oh, it's just so guttural. It's just like but you love it because it's just, and then you have like the it's the coal train, baby, and all that shit. It's just phenomenal.
Yeah, hell of a game. I loved going back to it. Like, other than that, like the other game that has absolutely just ruined my days over the past like week or so since I got the Series S is Forza Horizon 4.
Ooh,
Oh,
ooh.
that game is beautiful. Like
Mm-hmm.
that, and just like the fact that it's set here in the UK as well. Like just, I mean, like I sort of know those roads, and like I'm not a car person. I can't even drive myself. Um, like I've never known anything about cars. I don't know about the specs of things. Like I know the colors of cars. Like I can point out a red car or a blue car or a yellow car, but other than that, I know nothing of cars. But there's just something about Forza, and I think it was last Friday night. Like I sort of switched it on. Cecily ended up having like a nap on the sofa, like around about like 11, half 11, and I thought that's cool. I'll just carry on playing for a little bit, and then I turned around to wake her up and like tell us to get to bed. And I looked at the clock and it was 3:30 in the morning, and I was like, I have been driving a car for 5 solid hours, and like I have loved every damn second of it. The game is so good, so good.
I was gonna say I remember distinctly playing that quite a bit, like streaming it quite a bit. And once again, I'm in a similar boat. Like I can pick out cars and I can BS my way around one if need be. But like knowing like well if you swap this out for this or if you do this for this then da 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 da, I'm like I scrolled through the pre-built ones that somebody else had already done and I was like, all right, cool, that gets me to the top of A class. That one. Thank you.
Is it fast? Okay, that one.
Is it fat? Is like too
Yeah.
fat? Well, see, it's all fun and games until so there's I think I can't remember if it's a BMW or a Volkswagen one, but it's this little three-wheel car. It's not the round robin, but it's like this little bubble car, and like when you open the door, like the steering column goes with it. It is a ridiculous little thing, and that car you is like a D class, right? So it's real fucking slow. However, when you there was somebody who did a build for it to bump that thing up to like a B class, like a top tier B class, you can't fucking control that thing. You just can't. It is so you're going way faster than that car was ever designed to go. That thing is designed to go like 45. You're getting that thing up to like 100. It's just like, and then it's just you tumble, and it's like, all right, well, here we go now. Here we go now. But yeah, that game is phenomenal. And then especially when you start throwing in like the Lego DLC, where you like can go to Legoland,
Yeah.
and then they had you can drive the Warthog from Halo in it as well. It's
Oh,
which
nice.
that mission, have you done that mission to get that car?
No, not yet. Not yet.
I'm not even gonna ruin it. Do that mission. As soon as you find it, do that mission because it is something ridiculous that I didn't think they would actually put in that game. And it was just so fun to do that I ended up running it a few times just because I had fun with it. And
I'll
like
have to
it's
check
like
that out.
who
See, 'cause
like
that's
who replays missions in a driving game? It's like, no, I'm done. I'm moving on to the next race. It's like, no, I want to keep doing that race.
that like I mean like because when I bought myself the when I got the Series S, like because I managed to get a PS5 at launch, like and that's sort of my main console.
Lucky.
And I wanted to get a Series S just because of how awesome like the how awesome Game Pass is. I wasn't bothered about getting a Series X. Like I just wanted it to like stick in the living room so that Cecily can play it whenever she wants to. And, you know, I don't need to keep dragging the PlayStation back and forth from one room to the other. And I was like, look, I'm going to get Game Pass on this. That's what, £11 a month, I think it is. And I'm never going to buy anything for it. I'm never going to buy a game. Like, Game Pass is good enough. And with how much I've been playing Forza, I've already considered like going back on that decision because I want that Lego DLC. That Lego DLC looks incredible. Like, yeah, Game Pass, Forza, Xbox. It's changing my life. Changing my life.
Now, do you have Game Pass Ultimate or do you just have Game Pass? Like, do they even sell regular Game Pass anymore? Or is it now just Ultimate is like what you get?
I think I've got Ultimate because I've had Game Pass a while because I've had Game Pass on the PC, but
Okay.
I never use it because I like my PC's like where I am at the moment in the spare room. I don't like sitting in here to play video games unless I'm streaming. So I've had Game Pass, but I barely use it.
Fair enough.
So I think it's Ultimate because I've got the one that works on both console
Yeah,
and PC.
then
So.
yeah. All right. So Thrill, what about you? What do you typically play?
I tend to mix it up. So lately, I've been playing way too much Fall Guys for somebody who's never won at Fall Guys. Uh, and
Never? You've not got a single crown.
never in my life have I won
Oof.
at Fall Guys.
All right, all
But
I'm
I
gonna
still
say
play.
is that now there's team play, so you can
Yeah.
get so like you just need you just need a group to carry you. You just need a backpack for you to climb in and
Just
get you
get
to
me
that
there.
dub.
I'll jump over the edge. I got it. And I played a lot of Valheim too. Um, Valheim's really interesting because it's 2021 and the game looks like it came off of PS1, but it's still freaking beautiful at the same time. And I get lost in that game doing a lot of stupid shit, like not even progressing in the story. I'm just like, hey, let me build a house. Like, let me build another one, and I'm just like not even doing anything pertinent to game progression. I'm just building stuff and making fires and yeah.
Now Valheim, I haven't dabbled too much in Valheim. I've seen it and it looks fun. It's kind of just to me it just looked like Viking Minecraft. That's kind of what it just looked like to me. And then
I
I
mean,
heard that game is like what, like 5 gigs?
yeah, it's
Like it
not
is the
anything.
smallest of downloads, and I'm seeing that thing run, and I'm like, 7 Days to Die, which is a game that is like still in like alpha version 19 or some crap, and does not look good. Even when you crank it to the highest like settings, does not look great. Is bigger than that game, which is a fully fleshed out third person thing. I'm like, okay. People are putting
Yeah.
resources in different things. I see. But yeah,
Yeah.
so you're typically a PC guy then?
Yeah, I mix it up a little bit because I do have a PS4, but I haven't played an Xbox in ages because most of the Xbox games that I want to play, I can just play on my PC. So,
True.
uh, and haven't really been super active with my Switch, but Will plays games sometimes. Has been trying to sell me on Monster Hunter, so we'll see. We'll see if
Monster
I end up
Hunter.
getting into that.
Oh yeah, the new one, Monster Hunter
Yeah.
Rise.
Rice. Yeah. So we'll see if I end up getting that one.
Okay, all right.
Up until about 2 weeks ago, I always used to think that Monster Hunter was like a Pokemon clone. Because there was a game on PS1 which was I can't remember what it was called. It was like Monster Dungeon or something like that, and it was a Pokemon clone. And like ever since then, I just conflated that with Monster Hunter. And so up until about 2 weeks ago, like hearing everyone go crazy about Monster Hunter Rise and so excited, I was like, really? Okay, cool, I guess. And checking out the trailer, I'm like, oh shit, am I
Oh.
missing out? Am I missing out more than I've ever missed out on anything by
I
not
was
getting these games?
completely wrong about this game. It's like, oh yeah, it's just a Pokemon clone, right? No. See, kind of, except instead of throwing a Pokeball, you throw like a sword at him. I'm like, wait, what? Yeah, you're
Yeah.
just brutally you are just hunting these things. You're essentially living the life that guy in Jurassic Park 2 really, really wanted to do. AKA hunt a T-Rex. Like, I don't care. My whole reason for being here is to hunt a T-Rex. That's all I want to do. Like, all right. Which I can respect as far as a movie villain is concerned. He's like, I'm not a villain. I was hired to do a job. I'm doing that job, and the only thing I want to do is hunt a fucking T-Rex. All right? Don't. I'm a man of simple needs, and that need is to hunt and kill a T-Rex.
Listen, no good villain thinks he's the villain.
Yeah, but that's the thing,
Fair.
though. He legitimately wasn't. He was like, nothing he does is villain. He was hired to like trap the dinosaurs or whatever the heck the plot line for Jurassic Park 2 was. I can't really remember. All I remember is that Jeff Goldblum's back in it, and yeah, and then they have a T-Rex in LA for like 10 minutes.
Is Jurassic Park 2? Is that the one where the dinosaur like speaks in a dream?
No, that's the third
I
one.
want to say
That's the
that's the
third one.
third one.
Yeah, because
Okay.
that's
Okay.
Alan.
All right.
Yeah, because old boy's getting PTSD from fucking Velociraptors, which in all honesty, completely understandable. You fought a prehistoric beast, a murder machine. Yeah, I wouldn't really want to
You
go back
lived.
there either.
Oh man! And now they're still cranking out Jurassic Park movies, or
Yeah,
Yeah,
Jurassic
they've made
World
like
now, whatever you call it.
6 of them. And like
they're
there is one good Jurassic Park film. Like, and I will die on that hill. Like none of the Jurassic Park sequels are any good whatsoever.
First
They
one,
are. The first one is incredible.
okay.
But
Here's the thing, right? The second one isn't a bad movie. It does a pretty good job of like introducing what's going on and like why they're doing it, and so like that one wasn't bad. The third one got a little ridiculous. And then after the third one, it really should have stopped. Because at that point, it's like, all right, cool. We're leaving these things alone on the island. And then Jurassic World picks up because they're like, nah, we can do it better. And then
my
old
biggest
boy,
criticism.
yeah, and then next thing you know, old boy's coming in here making new dinosaurs that like blend in and like super dinosaurs and stuff. It's like, why would you do
Want
that?
it?
Why would you
Don't
do
need
that?
it.
Make it stupid. Don't You can make it look scary, just make it real dumb. Like why you gotta make it smart? And then you make
Like
it
that thing's
and then
gonna
the
kill you now. What are you
yeah,
doing?
and then what was the fifth one? They made it like a super raptor or some shit like that, to where it's like, yeah, I could
oh,
use this laser pointer and then it'll attack it. Why
it's
don't you
like
just shoot
the
him?
Odominus Rex or something? I want to
Yeah,
say
it
like
was
it's got
something
such a
like
dumb
that.
name.
And then
The Indominus Rex or something.
and then if memory serves, they had the little girl who was cloned, then um like sets all the dinosaurs free and dooms mankind. Which they were like, oh well, she set them free. I was like, yeah, cool. That's not how that should work. That's no, they should all have been killed.
Like
You've
that's what you did
essentially,
now.
I was like, I don't think you understand. And then they have that little scene there at the end where like the T-Rex is at the New York Zoo or some shit, and you have like the lion on the rock, and then the T-Rex just standing there. I'm like, that lion is dead. All right, like giraffes can kill lions. You understand that, right? Like this T-Rex is gonna maul this thing like it's nothing. But I digress. This is not the Jurassic Park podcast, although why the hell not? This is Nostalgia on the Rocks.
That's
We're
next
talking
week.
about old movies.
That's next week.
Yeah, that's next week's
Do a
episode.
T-Rex. A lion is just a cat. That's all it is.
Yeah. Never mind. God.
What have you been playing, Paul?
So I actually just picked up. I just started yesterday playing Hellblade. And
Ooh.
that game. Holy cow! I had heard it was good. I did not realize it was that good. So I'm playing this because I wrapped up Legend of Zelda: Breath of the Wild, and I kind of wanted something smaller before I jumped into the next giant RPG, because sometimes you can kind of just get you can get a little bored. It can get a little stale after a while if all you do is play these giant open world games. And so I was told, oh, you should play Hellblade. It's like 8 to 12 hours. It's a good story. Combat's good, and you can kind of just run through it in like 2-3 streams. I'm like, easy, right? No big deal. I didn't do a lot of looking up on the game. Like, I didn't really do a lot of research on it, just because I didn't want to get spoilers and all that stuff, even though the game's been out for a while. And I knew it had something to do with mental illness. So that game deals with like schizophrenia, essentially, right? You just hear voices in your head all the time. When you start that game off, it tells you to play with headphones, because it has that 3D audio. And man, let me tell you, that stuff will drive you banana sandwich. Because all of a sudden, it's just whispers over here, and then you got another voice over here, and then you have one voice that starts here and works its way around the back to the other ear, and I'm like, ah. But then, of course, like in the game, it's not just like one voice. So there's like, for the most part, there's like one voice, or like one mind, I guess, but they're all like kind of different tones and different attitudes. So like, you have some that are super supportive, some that are like, turn back. You'll never make it. You'll fail. You're a failure. And it's just like, no, thank you. It's like big, and there's like, you're getting lost. You don't even know where you're going. How could you think to survive here? You're gonna die here. And I'm like, hey, voices, can you shut the fuck up a minute? All right, I die, you die too. Okay. And so, but like that game is just, but the combat in its like the controls in that game are dirt simple. There's like five controls for when you're walking around, and 5 buttons for combat. You have a light, a heavy, melee, dodge, and a block, but you can also parry with it. But like, there are 5 buttons for combat, and there are 5 buttons for walking around, which even the walking around is like walking, sprinting, interacting with stuff. That's it. And so like, it is a very easy to play game, but it actually is quite a bit of fun. And even the combat is challenging without being overly so. But you can also then play with it to drop the combat difficulty down, because there is a thing in the game to where if you die, there's a plot reason why. I'm not going to get into it. Just like, there's a plot reason why if you die too many times, like, you're done. Like, all your progress goes away, and you got to start from the top. Which at first is like, oh god, what the heck? But you dying is avoidable most of the time. And then, like I said, if you do feel the combat is too difficult, or you don't really want to deal with that, you can just drop it down to Babum, or baby ass baby mode, and just run through the game and have fun with it and enjoy it for the story. So I highly recommend it. Hellblade, it's on Game Pass.
Oh, okay.
So you absolutely should pick it up.
It's a game like I've always been really interested in it. I've never like pulled the trigger on it, but it's one of those games that I'm so interested in that I've avoided it like the plague. Like, if I see anyone streaming it, I do not watch them. If anyone starts like, I mean, you didn't go into anything spoilery there. I knew there was the voices. I knew that it was combat based. I knew that there was like a restart mechanic in it. I knew those like 3 things. But like, if anyone starts talking any further about it, I'll be like, right, okay, bye. Oh, I'm gone.
La la la
Like,
la la
yeah. But if it's on Game Pass, shit, I think I know what I'm doing on my week off now.
I was gonna say, like I said, it's maybe 8 hours. Like, because I was playing it. I played it for about 5 hours yesterday, and I was asking the chat for somebody who had already played it. I was like, hey, how much more of this game do I have to go? Because like, I was at a point where, because it is, it deals with some heavier themes to it. So I'm like, I kind of want to like decompress and just like shoot some zombies. Like I need to know if I'm halfway. Because if I'm halfway, I'm good and I'm gonna bounce. But if I'm not, then I'm gonna keep pushing, just so that way I could wrap it up Friday. You know, the next time I'm gonna be streaming it. And they were like, yeah, you're over halfway. And I was like, dope, let's do it. So I would highly recommend playing that game.
Is it
It's
like
on
so?
PC Game Pass, and I'll play it.
Yeah, I think so. Will plays games sometimes in the chat has just said it's on PC Game Pass as well. So that's definitely one I'm gonna check out. Like I like you say like it's got its themes of mental health and mental
Mhm.
well-being and stuff like that. Is it I feel like that's a tightrope for a lot of games to cross, and that a lot of games that try and kind of deal with mental health issues, a lot of them sort of miss the mark a little because they don't quite get the crux of it.
Mhm.
Does Hellblade?
Now, Hellblade, I will say, had they credit them like first thing, like the first two people, like because you start the game off and like they have these like slow moving credits, which is kind of super cool. Like it's just done very well, very God of War esque, but you know
Okay.
in a different sort of way, like similar but not the same. But as you're going through there, like the first two people that are credited are like I believe it was the story writer and then like the psychologist or the the mental health expert that they had when writing this game. So like they actually
Dope.
went to doctors and like talked to them about it. They weren't just like shooting from the hip like, "Ah, yeah, we can do this. Yeah, sure. You know, it's not like just oh, we're writing a crazy character. All right, cool. I got this. She hears voices in her head and it's not like Teen Titans, not Teen Titans Go, but
Oh,
like the other Teen
jeez.
Titans, right? Where
Yeah.
you have Raven and she has like her split personalities in her head. It's not like that where it's like, oh, here's the bubbly Raven, here's the sad Raven, here's the rage Raven. It's nothing like that. And by the way, when I said that, Thrill, I gotta have a question now because now I might have to kick you off this podcast. What do you mean by oh god when I said the Teen Titans and not Teen
I
Titans Go?
just I just think Teen Titans can be a little hammy sometimes. I like it, but some parts are a little, you know.
Okay, let's understand.
I'm not gonna
And this
chat.
is where we'll end the show today, sports fans. Have yourselves a good. No, I'm just fine. No. You're fine. You're fine. You're fine. But
Let me pull up a comment from chat real quick.
yeah, sure, by all means.
Because Will says, as someone who has bipolar and BPD, he can say Hellblade is the only game he's ever seen that mental illness and psychosis even close to that portrays mental illness and psychosis even close to well and does it with respect. Would you agree with that?
Okay.
Yeah, just from what I know, because I, yeah, from my outside looking in perspective, that is 100% what it is. Like they're not using it as a like, it is a part of the game, but it's not just a gimmick of the game. It's not just like, oh yeah, this character has this because X, Y, or Z. Like it's a real reason why that game is why it's doing those things.
That's cool. That's cool. I'm gonna check it out. That definitely sounds like a bit of me, and
Yeah,
an
I want
8
to
to
take a look at
12 hour
it.
experience is whew, that's the sweet spot right there. That's the sweet spot.
Now, if I may, okay, actually, wait, hang on. I think we're getting a reverb from somebody. All right, I don't know. Maybe I'm crazy. I thought I could have swore I was hearing myself double there, but we'll just move on. Cut that little part out, Paul. Future Paul, cut that little part out, and then we'll start back up here. So, based off of the conversation we just had, Thrill, I want to ask you, when did you start streaming, and why did you start streaming?
So I started streaming in maybe end of July, August. I had streamed before, back in maybe the Xbox 360 days. I can't remember the exact year, but I would basically only ever stream Saints Row. I had this whole thing where I had my character, made him look like the Hulk, and I basically RP as the Hulk. And I gave it a shot for like 3 months. Nobody ever watched it, but I was like, this is cool. I think it's run its course. And then, around the time the pandemic started, I was like, I really, really want to get back into Twitch. I want to start streaming. I just built a new computer, and Oliver is on one of the same message boards that I'm on, and I saw that he was streaming, and so I went and checked out his streams and his community, and he was very warm and very welcoming, and it gave me the confidence that I could also stream. So I started streaming more. I had already done one or two streams, but once I saw how cool it could be, I was like, all right, let's give it a real shot. Let's like put some real effort into it, and the rest is history. I've been streaming maybe 3 to 5 times a week on average since then, and it's April now. Oh yeah, it's April 1st. Yeah, so I've been streaming pretty consistently since August.
That's awesome to hear, man. It's awesome to hear it. Oliver, you inspiring people to stream.
Being a good influence.
Being a good
They're like,
influence.
if this dum dum can do it, anyone can.
If this dum Dugan messed up the joke, I'm just move on now.
If this goofy idiot knows his way around a Twitch, anyone can do it.
Anyone can do it. Okay, so we have our our burning question, as we like to put it here, and I guess I don't know who we'll start off with here. I'll let it be dealer's choice. What genre do we think needs to make a comeback in the world of battle royales and first person shooters and third person action adventure games, and then the occasional game of Tetris? What games do we think? What genres do we think needs to try to make a comeback? Ali, I'd like to start with you on this.
Yeah, I mean, the reason I wanted to ask this question sort of this week while we had Frill on is so when mine and Frill's kind of Twitch paths first crossed, Frill was playing a lot of Streets of Rage on his channel.
I was.
But like the original Streets of Rages. And last year we got Streets of Rage 4, which was brilliant. It was just absolutely it so perfectly encapsulated the vibe of those original like free Streets of Rage games without feeling like an old game. It felt new, but it was still in that exact same sort of way that those old Streets of Rage games were.
New but familiar.
Absolutely. It was brilliant. And I as soon as that came out, I thought, oh, let's go. Like, this is the return of the games that meant so much to me as a kid. Streets of Rage 2 for me was one of the games that got me into games back on the Mega Drive, or the Genesis, as I'm sure you two would like to call it. It's the Mega Drive.
I'll never not call it Genesis.
It's the Mega Drive, damn it! It's the Mega Drive. But Streets of Rage 2 was one of those games that opened my eyes up to what video games could be, and just the soundtrack to it was incredible. The gameplay to it was incredible. Everything about that game just felt so rewarding from start to finish. And those games, there was plenty of them when I was a kid. There was we had Golden Axe, Turtles in Time. There was a really, I'm sure it was actually probably really bad, but I loved it as a kid. There was a Batman, I think it was Batman Returns, that was that side scrolling beat 'em up.
Oh yeah,
It was awesome. I loved it.
I remember there was an X-Men one.
The X-Men one was
and then you
weird.
had what, Simpsons had one.
Yep.
Some of the Marvel related ones were very hit and miss.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The X-Men one was that's one of my favorite stories of games being made, because it was shipped out to a Japanese company to make, who had never seen the X-Men cartoon or the X-Men comics that it was based off of. So they sort of had quickly written and poorly what's the word I'm looking for?
Animated?
No, translated. Poorly translated 3-letter lines of what each character was and what they did. And so the game is a trip because the whole way through that game, you are fighting dinosaurs and like jelly monsters for some reason. When Magneto comes onto screen, he screeches onto screen and he screams out, "I am Magneto, master of magnet." And that's it.
Yep.
It is a trip, that game.
Oh
Um
yeah.
it is but it's really fun. It's a really fun game to play, and I used to play that a lot, like because they released that as a um Xbox Live Arcade game back on the 360, and me and a couple of friends used to play that endlessly, just on repeat. It was so much fun. But those games died out when developers realized, oh wait, we can make wide open spaces. We can make worlds instead of, rendering one screen at a time. And like a couple of like indie games have attempted it. I know the Scott Pilgrim game did
Yeah.
it
Mm-hmm.
and did it very, very well, and got re-released
Just got
only
re-released.
a couple months ago. Like that they finally sorted out all their music licensing for it. Like
Yep.
but
Yep.
I would love to see that sort of game return in a big way, because now that we've had Streets of Rage 4, it can be done again and not feel like a quote unquote old game. But I just want to see someone go up to the plate and try and make a proper side scrolling beat 'em up game again. I miss them. I miss them so much.
Okay. All right. I mean, like that sounds like in theory that sounds fun, but like I'm not a Streets of Rage fan. I don't really remember playing a lot of those types of games. That being said, I have like played them on like showroom floors, or I have played
Mhm.
them on like back when like I mean, Thrill, you might be able to get me on this one. Like when Walmart had like the games that you could try, and the TV was up here and the controller was mounted, so you're just like
Yeah.
breaking your neck as you're looking up at that screen. Like I
Yeah.
remember, I vaguely remember playing it like there as well, or
Yeah.
like some like the Ninja Turtles version or something like that. But at the same, like that sounds like a lot of fun. But Thrill, what genre do you want to see come back?
So I knew that Oliver and I would probably agree on this because I was always into the side-scrolling beat 'em ups. He mentioned my Streets of Rage streams and stuff. So I'll touch briefly on that because I don't wanna be redundant. But yes, side-scrolling beat 'em ups need to come back. And we're getting a TMNT Shredder's Revenge later in the year. So maybe there's hope for a little bit of a resurgence.
That better be
But
good. That game better be good. Kid me is
but
gonna be
to
so angry if that game sucks.
Oh yeah, I was so excited about it that I called my best friend who he lives in California now. I know it was too early for him to even be awake, and I was like, please wake up. I need to tell you about this. Like, I was excited. Um, but to pick a different answer than Oliver, rail shooters. I know part of it is because we can make more open worlds now that we don't have rail shooters, but rail shooters, for the love of God, just give me like another House of the Dead, like something like that. Something I can just mindlessly shoot at my screen with. Like, I had so much fun playing House of the Dead, even though it's arguably a bad game. It was a fun game, and I could play that game all day. I'll start it over 3 times in a day. Like, it's so good. It's just uh, mindless fun.
See,
I'll back you up there. I'll rail shooters are great. Like House of the Dead. There was a House of the Dead machine, at a bowling alley like we used to go to, and like we'd spend more time on that than we would bowling. Like it was dumb, but such good fun. And again, it's the open world problem. Like developers are like, oh, we can make a big world now. Why would we bother doing something insular? They're like, I have fond memories of Time Crisis. Time Crisis is incredible. Did either of you ever have the Die Hard trilogy on PS1?
Yes.
Because
Oh my
Die Hard
God, that was
2 was a rail shooter, and it was
good. Yes.
so good, so good.
I don't think I ever got past Die Hard 1. I'm going to be full front facing honest with you. I remember that game and I remember playing it, but I could not, like, gun to my head, could not tell you that I got through that game or like could have beat Die Hard 1. I was like, I was a dumb kid who kind of like ran, shot, died, and then was like, well, this is boring. Twisted Metal.
I played way more of the Die Hard trilogy than I should have. Growing up, it was one of my dad's favorite movies, so I was like, I'm gonna watch this movie every weekend. And then when I saw that he had this game for his PlayStation, I was like, I'm gonna play this game every day, every single day. And then they made another Die Hard game for the GameCube, and I was like, I want that too. So I like way overexposed to Die Hard as a child.
Oh, man.
Yippee ki motherfucker!
Hell yeah, hell yeah. Dude, when you talk about rail shooters, that's the thing. Like, I'm trying to think. The only rail shooters I think can even think of, yeah, are like the Time Crisis ones, the ones you would see at like arcades or movie theaters and all that stuff, where you would like. I just remember, yeah, you would have the big like light blue and pink gun. You would have, and then I remember a foot pedal that you would step on, so that way you would like drop down into cover. So like you would step on the thing, you would drop down into cover, and then you shoot off screen to reload. So you just be a pop 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 shoot pop 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 shoot reload, and like you're just spraying and like doing your best to shoot everything, and then like they even had other ones like I remember like the not as good ones where you were like you're a SWAT team and you're heading into this warehouse to take down the terrorist. Don't shoot hostages, otherwise you'll lose a life. Lose 3 lives, and it's game over.
Most of them had the same plot, but it was okay.
Yeah,
There
it's
was like
all the same, but it's all like, but it's also like the Mortal Kombat like video game stuff where it's like actual people, so they're just like,
yeah,
ah, and it's just like it's the same thing of like Die Hard where it's just like a multicultural gang of just like random assortments of people where it's just like, like what? Okay, like
yeah.
I hope they paid this
There
man.
was
I hope he got paid in actual money and not in just like, yeah, come by and have our snacks.
I
And then you had what
I
else? There was
remember
like Area 51 and stuff like that. There was
Oh
there was
yeah.
some like that, slight
there
variations.
was there was one that I got with when I got my PS2, and it was like a sniper one. Silent scope, silent scope, sniper scope, something like that. But like it was like that was a bad game. Like I didn't play that game very often, even as like a dumb 11-year-old kid. I was like, nah, this
This
ain't
ain't the
it,
play.
chief.
This
But
ain't the
like
play. This ain't the play.
yeah, well, maybe not. But I remember one of the things I remember in that game is that like because you were a sniper and like you were moving around on like a helicopter or something, and again you've got to shoot the terrorists because it's always the
You gotta shoot the
terrorists.
terrorist. The terrorist.
But
Always.
to kind of to refuel your health, you had to focus your sights on a lady who was sunbathing on a roof in a bikini and shoot her,
Oh,
and that would give you life. Like even as like an 11-year-old kid, I was like, this is a weird message, huh?
that sounds
This
very 90s.
what
Ooh.
does this mean? Like do I
What
have to
this means is that
what?
there's an animator who really wanted to do that, and here we are now with a game mechanic for it.
Hey
Okay.
kids, you like women?
But they
Uh,
did there was because I think as far as like rail shooters are concerned, VR like a VR rail shooter like because they did the I can't remember what it was called, but it was the Until Dawn one.
You
Um
have that, but there's also like I would say Super Hot as a rail shooter. I would count Super Hot as a rail shooter because that one
yeah,
you're
okay.
like you spawn in a spot and then you have things around you that you can kind of grab, but you're not like walking around the area. You kind of do your thing there and then it'll bop you to a next spot and then you do a thing and then they move you to the next spot and then you like do some other
I've
crazy shit.
never thought of Super Hot as a rail shooter. Yeah, that
Yeah.
makes perfect sense. That
I
game's
classify that as a real.
I
I
didn't even
would say
think about
that game is a
that.
rail shooter.
I get it. I've never thought that myself, but I totally get it. That game is so good though. That game
Yeah.
is so damn good.
That game almost made me fall down, just from the because there's that one spot where you're like supposed to step off the ledge, and that fucked with me. Like that just fucked with me.
Oh, in
Period.
VR.
Yeah, so it's like I'm in VR and I played on PSVR and so like it was like step
Mhm.
off the edge and so I stepped off the edge and I'm like I don't like this. That
Yeah.
ground came up too quick. I don't like this. Also,
haven't,
I
the
had
only
a
time where
similar
I've
one when
like punched my dresser behind me because I had my green screen up behind me, and I was like,
no.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
I
Oh, I was like,
I
note to
haven't
self, Paul.
given
Like,
I haven't given any VR a shot yet. I went to PAX East a few years ago, and they had like a big setup for VR, but they were basically having everybody online try the same VR headset. And I looked at the line, and I was like, I don't know about that. It was day one of the con, and by day three, like 100 something people had pink eye, and I was like, oh, I made the right choice. I'll wait. I'll do it on my own. But I still haven't
yeah,
gotten to try VR yet.
I would highly recommend
Oh,
it. VR
it's
is
brilliant.
one of those like it's just one of those things that like I could sit here and I could tell you about it and how great it is, but until you actually like put the headset on, put the thing on, it's like literally just play Beat Saber. Beat Saber is
Mm.
like almost got me to buy an Oculus about 4 or 5 times because A, streaming it was fun, but B, like that was that was a workout that I could do that doesn't make me hate myself like Ring Fit. Ring Fit made me hate myself. Beat Saber was like I'm moving around, I'm getting into it a little bit, and then depending on like the song, like there's some of them that just are like pretty easy, and then there's some that just you just I'm just hitting, please, please don't fail.
Just
Ring Fit.
if you stream Beat Saber, just don't go back and watch any of the VODs afterwards because you do not look as cool as you feel playing that game.
Okay,
You do not. Okay.
I was in a kind of funny crop top. All right. I
Oh no.
knew I did not look good. There was not a I was a little annoyed because I forgot I meant to make myself smaller on the screen than I did. I was a little bigger on the screen than I meant to be. But even still, I know I didn't look good. But that was kind of the point. I was supposed to look ridiculous because it was like a thing. So I had like a dumb sweatband on. Well, it wasn't even a sweatband. It was the sleeve from the shirt because I'd cut the shirt sleeves off. I crop topped it like just below the tatas. Unfortunately, not
Just
low
under the
enough. Not low enough because as soon as I raised my hands up, it was just nips.
Oh,
Which, of course, somebody in the chat, a few people in the chat had clipped out for me. I was like,
of
thank
course.
you, TOS.
Beautiful.
Thank you.
But
Beautiful.
thinking of Beat Saber, I also sometimes think about like the old Guitar Hero games, like the basically like the plastic instrument music games. Like I kind of wish those would come back a little bit.
Okay, see that's where I was going. I had two in my back pocket just in case because I wasn't sure where you guys were going to go with it. One of them was those rhythm games. Now I understand that there was one that just kind of came out that was like you were like a DJ at like a festival and you could actually take like real songs and like run it, which I
Oh, I
I really
can't
wanted
think
to
what that's called.
I really wanted to play it, but if I played it, I wanted to stream it.
Mm.
Not I'm trying to remember. It was like Fuser. I don't know. A lot of peers I remember doing a big thing on it, but it was it looked fun and it looked like a good time and it kind of looked like it would scratch that itch of like the rhythm based thing, except it wasn't quite like hit the red note, the blue note, the green note like in time with this. It was more of like hitting like swapping songs on the beat or on like on the upbeat or the downbeat, and then like you would be like, all right, now you have to play a rock song, they want to hear this specific song, and then this song, and so they want to hear you like move like the like whatever category it is, whether it's the guitar, the drum, the vocals, or this, like
Oh,
they
okay.
wanted you to move it around. So it was a lot of fun, and it looked like a lot of fun, and I really wanted to stream it. I'm getting a little bit of background noise on it. Somebody's watching it. But it looked like a lot of fun, but the problem was is that I'm like, that is all licensed music. There is no way I'm getting away with streaming that without getting hit with a copyright strike. And this was like
Oh yeah.
during that initial big push of like, if you have any VODs with music in it, delete the VOD. It's like, okay, well how do I stop myself? Like, what about like if I play FIFA or Madden? Delete the videos, mute your game audio. It's like, well, I don't want to mute my game audio. That's boring. Like, then they just have to listen to my dumb ass and like that. I need them to hear, the announcers be stupid and hear me riff off of that.
Yeah. Yeah,
Uh,
I ran into that problem I streamed a couple of wrestling games, and some of the songs that they put are licensed tracks. And I uploaded those VODs to YouTube, and YouTube was like, no, 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 no.
Yeah, there's I was gonna say the two genres I would have is like those rhythm based games because
See,
I have
before we,
such. Sorry.
I was going to say before we move on from rhythm games, I'm going to drop something that is going to shock and appall both of you.
Oh no.
I have never ever played a Guitar Hero or a Rock Band or a DJ Hero or any of those peripheral like rhythm games. Never. I have never touched one. I have never been in the same room as one. And like it's not on purpose. I'm not
Slightly
trying to
disappointed.
avoid them. I just have never ever touched one and I have no idea how. And at this point it's become like it's almost become like an interesting fact about myself, so I kind of never want to touch them now. I've never played one, never.
Thrill. I need a moment with my co-host. If you'd be so kind. So let me just run that back one time. You just said in front of everyone here
The entire
and all
internet.
the entire internet and all those watching later on the VOD on youtube.com /FNHPaul. Please go subscribe. Actually, it's not slash it, just search FNHPaul. We're trying to hit 100 subs. Um, so that way I can get a custom URL, so that way I can say that. So you're sitting there and you're telling me that you have not only never played one of those games, you have never been in the presence of one of those games. That's what you're telling me right
Never.
now.
I have never. I don't know how. Like I am sure I've been in the same house as someone who has like a Guitar Hero, but I've just never. I have no idea how. It's like and again, it's not on purpose. I wasn't like a kid who was like, "Oh, fuck Guitar Hero." I think
I
Guitar
play a
Hero looks
real
awesome.
instrument, man.
Yeah.
There were a few people I
I
know
want to
who
play
did that. They
Guitar
were like, I
Hero.
know how to
It
play
looks
guitar for
dope.
real. I don't need a guitar. I don't need a plastic guitar. I'm like, cool guy, you're so awesome. Fuck off. Go play
Yeah.
Wonderwall
Oliver,
again.
I don't think I've ever felt disappointed in you, but maybe today, a
I don't
tiny bit.
blame you. I don't blame you because
I'm not
again, like I want to play Guitar Hero. Someone invite me like when it's safe to do so. Once the
Listen,
Rona is gone, invite
after
me
the
round your
pandemic,
house.
you
Let's
can come
play Rock
over
Band.
and we'll play Rock Band. I got you. We'll play
I've just
Rock
never
Band
played it.
Metallica or some bullshit like that. We can.
I gotta do some research real quick. I don't think I can, but hold on.
Yeah, it's one of those that part like because I've always said like sort of there was a period of time where like not that I wasn't interested in video games, but like I just wasn't in the world of video games, and I think it was pretty much that entire time of when like Guitar Hero and Rock Band were the rage. Like I just never was around them. Like I just never had one, never played one.
Even
And
before Rock Band and Guitar Hero were the rage, there was like Amplitude on PS2. Like that was that was really solid. I need to stop doing this shit
oh,
because
I like but that because I love rhythm games like Res is it Res? Yeah, Res like I love Res. Thumper's fucking awesome. There's Ollie Ollie, which is like a skateboarding rhythm game. Like I love rhythm games. I've just never played a Guitar Hero. I've never held one of those plastic guitars.
there's actually a rhythm game I've been meaning to try. I think it's called BPM, bullets per minute or something like that. It's an FPS
So nice.
rhythm game, and like as you shoot, like it goes, you're supposed to shoot to like the rhythm of like whatever the music is going on. And I saw a whole
Oh,
bunch
that
of
sounds
trailers for it,
awesome.
and I was like really into it, but I still haven't bought it yet. So just for the sake of playing a rhythm game, I might have to get it.
Okay.
Yeah, I need to check that out.
Okay. So I've just been doing some research. Doing
Right.
some research here. Because obviously they have not released a Rock Band for the next gen consoles. I doubt they ever will. However, I am looking. Get the fuck out of here. Sorry, I'm looking online to see like, okay, on Amazon, can I get, a Rock Band game for the Xbox One, and will it work on the Series S? According to what I'm reading, Harmonix has said that the Xbox One, or the Rock Band, like, bits and bobs, essentially, so the guitars, the drums, the mic, all that stuff, will work with the next gen consoles, and they can play those games through backwards compatibility.
Huh.
However, Rock Band 4 guitar with Xbox One software bundle, buying it new or used, right now I'm looking at it, £299 for a game that came out in Xbox One time frame. Like, that's like a 5-year-old game with the controller for it for like.
For my American friends,
Frill, that's about $500.
Yeah, like $400. Yeah. Ooh. For man. And the bad thing is like, I'm looking and I'm like, okay, well, what about, and then I'm looking right now, and of course they have all these off-brand ones, the black, that's a Wii guitar, Wii guitar. It's like, okay, like, oh god, it hurts so much. Because that was the thing, I was about to be like, we're about to have a Nostalgia on the Rocks band night. We're about to do it. Like, fucking bet we don't.
You could buy like a decent actual guitar for £300.
You could buy a good guitar for £300. Like, that's not like, yeah, like, if I'm gonna drop 300, fuck off.
There was a game, I think it was called Rocksmith or something like that, where you could plug in an electric guitar through like a USB adapter or something like that. But at that point, if I'm plugging in my guitar to anything, I'm plugging my guitar into an amp and I'm playing it like that.
Well, that's the thing. So like, Rocksmith was designed to help you actually learn how to play it. So like, that was the whole thing, is like, you could plug your guitar in and you could actually like learn to play the guitar. That was like whole Rocksmith's
really cool.
Which is dope. However, I don't want that. I want all the buttons, and I just want to feel like a cool kid while hitting about 5 different buttons and strumming up and down and hitting that fucking whammy bar like I'm going on the side.
Buttons.
I could never get that. I could never figure that out. Although I will say, the day I learned how to like really like stretch that to go from like green to orange, I was so happy. It hurt like a SOB for like a week, because I was just like, you're hitting all your buttons. You got your blue right here, and then orange is a bit further down. So it's just like red, orange, and then it was just like, ha! Like, I'm not a man with large hands, all right? I know there were some people that could, like, I had a buddy who literally could, like, just wrap his hand around the neck and hit almost every button. And I was like, I hate you and your mittens that you have.
Be me.
But, like, rhythm games are something I would love to see come back. And then, maybe not even games that would come back. Games that I think I want to come back. All right? Because here's the thing, right? As much as a Streets of Rage, like those kind of, like the side-scrolling beat 'em up, the rail shooter, the rhythm-based game, as much as I'm like, oh, that would be awesome, I don't know if I want that. I don't know if that's really what I want, because as much as we love those old games and we love the nostalgia of it, I'm going to go to Crash Bandicoot in this scenario, right? We have Crash Bandicoot. We have the Insane Trilogy. That nostalgia kicks in. They're giving you the game in a way that you almost remember it being. Like, oh, it always looked this good. It always felt this good to play. No, it fucking didn't. You're a fucking liar. No, it did not feel this good to play. No, it did not look this good. Like, they tweaked some stuff. But when they did, like, the new Crash Bandicoot, Crash 4, I I think that was still good, but I don't remember that doing gangbusters like the Insane trilogy did.
Hmm.
No.
And then even with the new Ratchet and Clank game, I'm very interested to see how that one goes because Ratchet and Clank was one of the few games like they rebooted, didn't they? Or am I mistaken on that
It was the one that came out a few years ago was a remake of the original,
one? Mm-hmm.
but kind of it was a remake. Like it had like the same sort of plot to a degree, but they were very liberal with how they changed like a lot of stuff in it. Like
Okay. So it was based on the original game, but they had roughly the same storyline, but they went about it a different way.
exactly, yeah.
So it was almost like so for like in a movie sense, it was like they just they straight up remade it. It's like, oh well, it's not a shot for shot remake. It's more of a we know we want to go from A to B, so we just kind of took a few other little detour routes to get there to kind of amp it up and make it better, so that way it's not a carbon copy. But like they have that new Ratchet and Clank game coming out, and I'm very
Yeah, I was
interested to
gonna
see
say.
how that goes because when you have these old nostalgic games and they come out and they make a new one, if they don't they always feel like they need to do something different so that way they don't feel like they don't feel like the same game just done
Mhm.
again and trying to charge you $60 for it. But if they then stray too far from the formula, then people are like, "Oh, it's not the same game. This is garbage, literal garbage." I don't know why I went English with it, but I did. Um, yeah, but it's just like people get upset and people think it's trash and they don't want it and all this other stuff. So that's why now I'm in my head. It's not genres I want to see come back. It's genres I think I want to see come back. Because as much as I would love a new rock band, as much as I think I would enjoy that style of game, because I do remember just hours and hours as a kid in my room playing that game, like Guitar Hero 1 through 3. I 100% of that game, those games. Like going through there, playing it, doing all the crazy stuff, playing it behind my head, swinging the controller around before it was wireless, so I had to like still dodge the cable as it went around. Realizing the guitar strap was jacked up halfway through and then spinning it and nosediving into the ground and praying I didn't break it because I'm the fifth of seven. All right, we ain't got money to drop on a new controller, especially that goddamn controller. I didn't know I didn't have a proper game controller that didn't come with the console till I was buying them myself. The amount of Wildcat controllers, if anybody can go back that far,
Yeah.
yeah, like the knockoff Afterglow for everybody who's now buying those like the off-brand controllers is like what it is. But like before, yeah, you just had a controller that looked kind of like it was supposed to be there, except this one has a turbo button. What's the turbo button do? Nobody knows, but it was on the controller.
Press
Oh
it
I,
and
yeah,
I, had,
see.
I had a Mad Cat PS2 controller, and that thing was literally about that big. It was tiny. Like, and they were like, "This is the small controller for the PS2. It fits in one of your hands," and that was like their selling point. And you tried to use it, and you were like that. Like, okay, I think I'm doing it right. Like, it was impossible to use.
why though? Why
Impossible.
though? That was like the oh man, what was it? I remember Jared Petty talking about on Kind of Funny like years back now,
Mhm.
but it was like this little keychain Game Boy thing that had like 3 buttons on it, and it was like the game. So you had like a left, right, and a jump, and it was like, but it was like this. It was like this big. Like that's the size of this thing. So you're just sitting there, and you're just like, and it's like, why? They have like 5 different colors or some crap like that. And I was just like, this is not. And they were like, oh, this is a
I had to
collector's
look it up.
thing. And I'm like, I can't do this. I'm like, no.
Wow. I had to look it up. That's really small.
Yeah,
Holy crap.
it's like small. It's like keychain size. That's what it is.
I,
And it's
I can't. My eyes.
yeah. But that's what I mean by like this topic. Like what genres would you like to see come back? What genres do we think we'd like to see it come back? What
See,
like
I totally get you on that front, and like you saying about like Crash Bandicoot, like rings true for me because like I played a lot of Crash Bandicoot as a kid. Like I had a PS1. My next door neighbor had Crash Bandicoot 1, and I think I borrowed it like forever. And I loved that game, and I loved Crash Bandicoot 2, and I loved Crash Bandicoot 3. I adored them. And when the Insane trilogy came out, I bought that shit day one, and I loved it to pieces. I platinumed all three of those games, and like that's hard. That's hard to do.
Yep. Nope.
Um,
Not a chance in hell.
And so last year when they like announced Crash Bandicoot 4 and they were hyping it up, like I was over the moon. I was super excited for it. I didn't like it when it came out because it didn't have that nostalgic factor because it was all new. And so it was like that kind of muscle memory was gone, and I was just left with this game that for me it sort of like I know that game reviewed really well, but for me it felt like a the way I've always put it, and I hope you know what I mean by this, it felt like a cover version of Crash Bandicoot. It
Yep.
felt
Okay.
like it felt like, you
I
know,
got you.
it was Crash Bandicoot, but it wasn't by Crash Bandicoot. It
Yeah.
was
Somebody else's version of Crash Bandicoot.
yeah.
Which
And
I
it
will say, it's not a bad cover. It's kind of like a Pop Goes Punk cover.
no,
But it's not a
like
bad cover by any stretch of the imagination. It's just not the cover you want to hear. It's like I
that
wanted to
game was
hear.
great. That game, everything about that game felt really good. Like the controls were really good. It was really responsive. The level design was fun. The graphics to it were incredible. The story was really fun, but I never finished it. I bounced. I bounced after about like 10 or 15 levels, and then every time I've tried to pick it up since, it just frustrated me. And like the Insane trilogy didn't frustrate me because even though there was levels in that game that made me want to snap my controller in two, here's looking at you, fucking rope bridges. But I persevered because I was like, I know this. I know this game. I love this game. This is great. But
I love
with
this game. I know this
I
game.
do love it. I do. But like the new one, it never had that. It just it just felt like it was almost Crash Bandicoot, and I didn't want almost Crash Bandicoot. I wanted Crash Bandicoot, and you're right. Like if I wanted Crash Bandicoot, then I need to go to 20 years ago. Like, and that's what I need to do. Like,
Sometimes it's hard when you try to remake a game like that because lightning doesn't strike twice.
mm,
And so if you got it right the first time and you're trying to remake something like so many people have such a vivid memory of, you're gonna piss off a certain amount of people. There's always gonna be somebody who hates the new one or hates what you're trying to do with it. Like they're always gonna be fond of the original version, and that's fine too, you know. But I don't think the new one was like a bad attempt. It's just
no,
I like the old stuff.
yeah, and I do like that. The new game was it was good, and everyone who loved it, like, awesome. And like, I imagine like people who picked that up as their like first Crash Bandicoot loved it because that it was a good game. It just for me, it just I was like, I before I bought it, I was so assured of myself that I'm like, right, I've got the other three Crash Bandicoot Platinums. I'm gonna get the fourth Platinum. I never even bothered completing that game. Like, just, and I don't think I'll go back to it at any point. Just,
We know Oliver loves his platinums.
I do,
Yeah.
I do. 94 now, 94. I
Good
want to
lord.
say.
Good lord.
Mm.
I'm. Who hurt you? Who hurt you? All right. So I think we're gonna move on from this topic, and I think that's actually gonna bring a wrap to our show today. So, Thrill House, you can please. Here's what I need you to do. I need you to dig down deep. I need you to give me the best promo you have ever given about why people should go follow you and where they can find you on these internets. Go.
Let me tell you something, brother.
Great start. I love it. Keep that energy. Keep it going.
Do you like good vibes? Do you like retro games? Do you like having fun? Do you like chatting with your friends? And come check out Vibe Daddy. Come see ThrillhouseMAX in action. Come join the community. visit me at twitch.tv/ThrillhouseMax. And together, we can take over the world. Together, we can be the Vibe Daddies. Let's do it.
I said bring it, and he said bet. I love to see it. I love to see it. I'm a sucker for a good promo. I'm a sucker for a good promo. So, ladies and gentlemen, in case you were too mesmerized to get all that, you can find our boy Thrill here, or as he'd like to put it, Vibe Daddy, over on twitch.tv/ThrillhouseMax. You can also find him over on twitter.com/ThrillhouseMax as well. I'm not crazy?
Yep.
Instagram?
Yep.
Graham?
I do have an Instagram. It's mostly memes, but you can go to Instagram and check out ThrillhouseMax, and I'll show you. You can laugh your ass off at all my memes, and you can check out pictures of my tortoise.
How did
They're
that
good
not get
memes.
brought up? Hold on. Damn it, we don't have enough time. We will get you in here for round 2 where we can talk about a turtle. I did not know you had a turtle.
Oh yeah.
That's got to be mentioned. I gotta
He
start
might be
that up.
more
We gotta
famous than I
start
am.
we gotta start screening our people a bit more. It's like, all right, do you have any pets? All right, and then Oliver, please, you know what it is. Give it to him.
Twitch.tv/ProbablyOliver. I can't cut a promo as good as Frill, so I'm not going to go all into that. But Twitch.tv/ProbablyOliver, Mondays to Thursdays at 7 p.m. GMT. You can catch me there. Other than that, you can catch me every other week on Twitch.tv/FNHPaul with Nostalgia on the Rocks. Yeah. And on Twitter, it's probably _Oliver. But if you can all send messages to Twitch.tv, the Twitter at @ProbablyOliver, and tell him that he should give me the handle. I want the handle, not him.
If we bully him hard enough, maybe he'll give it to you.
See,
Maybe.
here's the thing, right? Here's
but
the
he
thing,
might-
right? I wanted to originally, because the first time we did this, I accidentally tagged the wrong Oliver. Just because when you go live on Streamlabs, it'll be like, oh, do you want to tweet this out? So I was like, yes, tweet out. I put an @ before Probably Oliver, so that way it would tag him on Twitter. I forgot to put the underscore in there, so it tagged the other Probably Oliver. I wanted to just keep tagging him every single time. Just so that way, either A, that's right? So either A, we get him on the show, which he may have nothing to do with video games. It might be a boring show, but I would love it just so I can sit here and I'd be in your spot, Thrill House. I'd have other Oliver up top. So it would just be Oliver v. Oliver at the top, just fighting each other. That's all I would
Oliver
want.
on the rocks.
Just Oliver on the
Bro,
rocks.
he's a super cool dude. Like, it really annoys me that he's actually really cool. Like he knows a fuck ton about NASA and space. I hate that dude. I hate that guy. Anyway, Twitch.tv/ProbablyOliver. That's where you can find me. That's
And then, ladies and gentlemen, you guys can find me over on twitch.tv/FNHPaul, twitter.com/FNH_Paul, and Instagram.com/FNH_Paul there as well. And then if you guys, hopefully if you guys are not catching this live, you guys are seeing this over on the YouTube channel, youtube.com, not /FNHPaul yet, but if you guys are watching this on YouTube, please think about hitting that like button. Think about hitting that subscribe. We're trying to hit 100 subs so that way we can get that sweet custom URL. That way I can just have FNHPaul on this and hopefully not have to put an underscore there. So, small, it's not that big a dream, but it's a dream nonetheless. But ladies and gentlemen, our last bit. All right, I got a little bit left in the glass here, so actually we're gonna top it up. Who am I kidding? Who am I kidding? Let's get one last good pop.
Yes.
Oh, so good.
oh, that was better than the first.
Well, the first, because now it's lubed.
I got that
now it's lubed. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you guys for being here with us. Appreciate each and every one of you guys for hanging out. Remember to stay safe, wear a mask. Catch you next time. Cheers.